Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. I am Brett the Jet in the booth here tonight with Turn 3 Racing Network, bringing you Championship Night. That is right, season finale for the 802 Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. Coming into tonight, pretty much the 44 of John Ross has it wrapped on up with the cars that have showed on up. As long as he takes the green flag, we will be talking to him after the race. Right now, it looks like the 16 Leaf Guard machine of Steve Ritter sitting at the top of the charts here in practice as we get ready to roll through our normal events here. At the end of practice, we will go into qualifying best of 2 laps to determine our starting order. Then our season finale here at Kansas, 160 laps to figure out who finishes where in the points. As practice wraps on up here, these drivers getting ready to see who will lead the field to the green flag here tonight. We will wait and see who is one of the first cars to roll off of pit road here tonight. Drivers taking their time to get out to the racing surface. One of the first cars here rolling will be the 25. This is AJ Cawthon here. Cawthon was in the mix big time for the points here, but I believe missing a couple races, not helping that, and he's had some pretty tough luck here, especially second half of these playoffs here. Cawthon coming in here tonight in P number 6 in the standings, but very close to about third place Christian Delgado. I mean, everything has to go right for this 25 machine, but still very close points battles from third on back here in points. As here the 25 of Cawthon on the first time lap. He will keep to the high side on both ends. First lap in the books, Rob Lowell, a 31.60. Cawthon across the stripe, he will go with a 31.53. Johnny Barker will split the two with a 5.6. So Cawthon first lap, best of anyone out on the Speedway. Looks like high sides where you want to be at here in qualifying. As Steve Ritter throws down a 5.2 now. Lowell a 3.0, so second lap definitely faster than the first as Cawthon completes qualifying here. He will improve to a 4.7. That'll put him P number 3. And we take a look here at the W46 machine. This is Eli Raposa. Raposa here taking the green flag here in qualifying. Taking the white flag as he completes lap number 1 with a 32.07. Steve Ritter, a flying lap, throwing down a 31.25 to claim quick time at the moment. So Raposa down the backstretch for the final time now through 3 and 4. He will cut down all the way to the apron here. And Raposa across the stripe, he will improve to a 5.1. That'll have him setting up in P number 7. Looks like one car has not taken a time. It is the 24 of Kenny Reel. Reel here off of turn number 4. At the stripe, we'll see what he can do. 31.66 lap number 1. Oh, Reel will get the wall there in 3 and 4, so that will disallow this lap, and Reel will roll off P number 10 here for the green flag at Kansas. So Kenny Real now just seeing how close he can get to that wall when it comes time now for racing action here in just a few minutes. Walking away with the final BG Graphics Pole Award, that being the 16 car of Steve Ritter. As actually we got a chance, one more car still to take a time. Christian Delgado rolling out to the Speedway, so we'll see if it's a little bit too early. But right now, Steve Ritter walking away with the season finale BG Graphics Pole Award. So we'll go now back down trackside here. Last minute qualifying effort being put in by this guy. 31 of Christian Delgado on the clock. I think he got the wall there off of turn number 4. So first lap not going to count. This is going to be the only lap for Delgado. And he's going to be very close on the timing and scoring. Has about 15 seconds and still over half a track. I don't think he'll be able to get his lap in before time expires. As qualifying wraps up there, Steve Ritter walking away with the pole here. So drivers will head on down trackside here, and let's go through tonight's starting lineup here at the season finale at Kansas. The 16 machine of Steve Ritter will lead the field to the green flag. On his outside is the 82. That is Nick Larson. Another great qualifying effort from the 82 car. Row number 2 will be made up of Rob Lowell in the 21 down low. And tonight, the man we'll keep an eye on here, it's the 44 of John Ross. Rounding out the top 5 will be the 25 Budweiser machine of AJ Cawthon. To his outside, rolling off P number 6 will be the 51 of Dalton Powell. 7th will be Eli Raposa in the 46. 8th going to Leroy Cobblenetz in the 43. Then P number 9 will be the 6th car of Johnny Barker, and rounding out the top 10 will be the 24 of Kenny Real. Rolling off P number 11 will be Ariba Ken in the 30. 12th going to Jeff Barefoot in the number 9. And then starting shotgun on the field here tonight in P number 13 will be the 31 machine. That is Christian Delgado. As the field will get rolling here off of pits, we will get him ready to fire off one final time this season here tonight at the Kansas Motor Speedway. Alrighty, folks, party time here in half a lap. Front row Ritter. On the inside to his outside will be the 82 of Larson. Lights are out around the Kansas Motor Speedway. Here we go, folks. Fans are up on their feet. iRacing pace car heads down pit road, and Steve Ritter leads him to the final start of the season. Ritter will wait on the loud pedal here. He'll jump on it, and here we go, folks. Green flag racing for 160 laps here tonight at the Kansas Motor Speedway for the season finale. Ritter wasted no time to get up to that top side here. He wants to be up top here in a hurry, and he did just that. Some cars in the wall, one car way out of sorts down low. That's the 21 machine of Rob Lowell, as I believe the 43 of Cobblenetz. I'm not sure who else definitely got a piece of that wall there off of turn number 2. So this play's definitely tough because a lot of aero push, a lot of aero going into the battles here tonight. So Driver's going to have to be really careful. Keep that nose on these race cars underneath them, especially on this high lane, because if you're running the top, you are right against that wall here, and all it takes is one little mistake, and that's all. And then it's pretty much game over from there. You're in the wall, and you're hoping your car isn't damaged at all. As we look here, John Ross up into P number 2, Steve Ritter down to P number 3. So seems like Ritter trying to keep that right front on this race car. Definitely thinking long run here, as he has had a pretty kind of nice and easy pace, let's say, here from the drop of the green flag. Further on back, a few cars trying to, one car very loose there. Contact as one car goes sliding through the grass. That's the 31 of Christian Delgado. Looks like he will keep it facing in the right direction as Delgado falls all the way back from where he started. He was up 7 spots there, but contact with the 6 of Johnny Barker. Barker looks like maybe got a little loose, then tight, then maybe loose again. So both those guys hoping for a yellow at some point, as they have fallen way back in the pack, let's say, and way off the pace of the leaders. Out in front leading the way is the 82 of Nick Larson. Then John Ross here closing in the gap. Last time by, Ross was just a smidge faster than Larson. Looks like Larson up a little bit higher on corner entry, whereas John Ross a little bit lower. Maybe trying to make sure he stays off that wall here. That time by, both of them entered about the same spot. As we now see Dalton Powell get around the 16 of Steve Ritter. Seems to have a little bit of connection issues here. Hopefully he gets those things sorted on out, as both Ritter and Reel here go down to the bottom side. The only few cars I've seen really kind of making this bottom side work here tonight are the 16 and the 24, as I've seen cars go down there to, make a pass or make a move on someone, but these guys have been running the bottom here the first 7 laps. As Reel will get to the inside of Ritter, trying to guess where he is at. As Reel misses the bottom there just a little bit, you saw that car wash on up, and that is the one kind of big thing you got to watch out for running that inside lane, is losing that front end, having that wash up, because then you're putting a lot more wheel in kind of late when you should be thinking about throttling on up. As we see the 43 Leroy Calvinets here in the Looney Tunes machine, making his way on back up through the field. Calvinets fell from hitting that wall there on lap number 1, but has had some pretty decent pace the last couple laps, so it looks like the damage not affecting that 43 car too much, if anything. Side-by-side battle for P number 8. It is Raposa down low, Lowell up top. Rob able to hang on to that spot, but now Eli driving it in there deep, getting to that left rear quarter panel again. Either driver could side draft each other depending on who has the run, as advantage Raposa at the line there. And he will almost be clear by the time they get into turn number 1. Raposa will have the shorter distance, but here comes Lowell up top with the momentum. Here in a moment, they might be battling now with AJ Cawthon, who has kind of backed up to them as well. As 21 there, definitely got a piece of the wall off of turn number 4, so you definitely want to keep that to a minimum. Keep these cars off the wall as much as possible. Out in front, Nick Larson took over the race lead on lap number 2. Has not looked back. John Ross about 5 car lengths back. Both these guys running about the same lap pace. And 2 seconds back from them, we have our 3rd place driver, the 51 of Dalton Powell, kind of on his own. Then 4th is Steve Ritter, 5th Kenny Reel, and these guys kind of lean on a group of around 5 cars in total, all the way back to Raposa back there. This is where the best battles on track are going to be happening, as Reel to that back bumper of Ritter there down the front stretch at least. Reel last time almost a 10th faster than Ritter, so Reel definitely trying to turn it on up a little bit sooner than the 16. As the 43 of Cobbinet's able to get around AJ Cawthon, as Cawthon though has a run on the top side, able to just get his nose to the right rear quarter panel of the 43. Wow, Leroy slamming the door shut there on AJ, just able to get clear and just able to slide right up to the nose of the 25. Looks like we'll try and do the same here off of turn number 4, and we'll do that in fact. Out in front though, battle for the race lead. John Ross reeled in Larson. Don't know maybe if the 82 had a mistake or what happened, but that happened very quickly, as Ross now new race leader, as Larson into the wall there for 2nd. Larson definitely got caught in that dirty air there, rushing the wall. Definitely now some right front and a little bit of right rear wheel well damage to the 82. As we see the gap now to Ross grow, riding on board with 2nd place Larson. As, oh, here we go, watch out. Lowell loose down low. We saw him slide up right in front of the nose of Cawthon, and a little bit of contact between the 25 and the 21. Somehow Lowell hanging on to that race car. Wow, but man, that could have been a lot worse than the second time we seen the 21 down on the apron on the backstretch. So up in front of this pack now, Ritter has reeled in Dalton Powell, so battle for the 3rd position now is Powell trying to hang on to P number 3 from the 16 of Ritter. We saw that slow starting pace from Ritter. Now it's going to come into his favor. That 16 machine, one of the fastest cars out on track right now, as he gets around the 51 of Powell. Oh, as Ritter gets a piece of the wall on the backstretch, here comes Powell with the run there. So once again, this battle not quite done yet, as Powell holding strong now here on the top side of Ritter. Ritter able to hang on to the spot now. Powell under fire from Kenny Reel. Powell up top, Reel down low here in 1 and 2. Let's do a drag race off at 2, and wow, Kenny Reel with a move 1 corner, and job is done. Reel up into P number 4 now. As Leroy Cabinet's going to try and copy what the 24 just did. He will go side by side with Powell, and you know, Powell's that right front hurting on that race car. He is hoping for a yellow flag here sooner than later, if one is to come, or else he will probably be one of the first down pit road here. As Powell gets a piece of the wall there, Cawthon will go on by, and that car, sadly, the handling's only gonna get worse on that thing. Now we even see the 21 of Rob Lowell to the inside of Powell. Powell goes from third all the way back to going to be eighth here in a lap or two probably. You know, that drop was only spent, I don't know, what do you want to say, 4 laps or so, so a lot can happen in a very short amount of time here. Especially here at the Kansas Speedway, man, mistakes will just compound on top of each other and just keep on getting worse and worse. So once you get into that wall once, man, it just seems like then you just got a magnet to these race cars. That's why I always say, especially these NASCAR races, you got to keep these cars clean and keep them out of the wall at all costs. John Ross in the race lead here tonight, a 3.3 second advantage over Nick Larson. Larson's still on his own island. He's about 3/10 though off of the cars around him, as man, John Ross, even with that lead, he is still running some of the best laps on track. Same with these two drivers. Well, these pretty much 3 now, as Leroy Cabanets has been matching these drivers' lap times as well. So these 3 definitely took it easy in the first probably 15 laps. And these guys reaping the rewards of that, is compared to most, they're about 3 to 5/10 of a second faster than the guys that decided to try and use the, let's say, start of the race as a way to get through the field, you know, be aggressive early on while everyone's bunched up, but they are paying the price in the tire department here. As we are still only 25 laps in, I'd have to bet we see drivers on pit road probably around 50 to 60, and that would be the first round of pit stop window, so still at least half a run, unless we'll see drivers in around that 40 mark, but I'm pretty sure we can make it up into that 60-ish mark. We'll wait and see, but if that's the case, these drivers that pushed hard, man, they are going to be feeling it here in that right front, and it's going to be a long first stint as we see Steve Ritter get around Nick Larson for second. Kenny Reel trying to do the same here in 1 and 2. So Larson up top here, Reel down low. Reel with a great run. He's able to get to the inside of Ritter for second now. Ritter will be able to hang on to P number 2, Reel in third. Larson trying to hang on to fourth, but Cabanets to the inside here in 1 and 2. Larson still holding fairly strong here. The key is staying with these drivers and the draft. The draft helps a ton on these straightaways here, but you want to be in that clean air as much as possible when it comes to getting in these corners. Keep that dirty air off of the noses. So Larson still hanging on to that fourth position. This time it's going to be pretty even. No advantage to Cabanets, and Cabanets plays it right. He does. He's able to get clear into turn number 1. So that moves Larson back down to P number 5. Cabanets will try and stay with his buddies of Ritter and Reel out in front, but right now, top 3, all drivers with the last name starting with R. So already here tonight, 30 laps in of the 160. Here further on back, we see Johnny Barker getting around the 51 of Dalton Powell. So this will move Powell all the way to the last car in the top 10 here. So Powell, remember, was running up in that third position, but now here on lap 30, all the way back to P number 10 as that handling on the race car definitely out the window here early. We'll keep an eye here on this battle heating up for P number 6. It is AJ Cawthon and Rob Lowell. These two had some contact as we see Cawthon just grazed the wall there in 3 and 4. That will give the advantage to the GStone 21 machine here by the time they dive it into turn number 1. And Lowell will take back P number 6 here tonight. Try and race his way back into the top 5 here as he is closing the gap to the 82 of Larson, who does sit in that P number 5 spot. Steve Ritter, Kenny Reel going at it for the second position here. Ritter kind of stuck in no man's land there in the middle of 1 and 2. Kind of running the middle as Reel trying to rip the top side here. Kenny Reel second in points coming into tonight. Pretty comfortable second. So the leader in the points, John Ross, out in front here. So setting 1-2 on track and in the standings. And like I said, since these drivers took the green flag, they are locked in. Ross is going to be our champion. Reel going to be our runner-up. But from third on back, still anyone's game here as Christian Delgado up into 11th, but not the night he wanted to start with. .30 machine of Caton going 1 lap down here on lap 35. So Reel able to take over second. John Ross out in front. 4.7-ish second advantage now for the 44 Sim Motion machine. So we did have one driver down on pit road. That is the Riptide Radio number 9 Ford Mustang. That is Jeff Barefoot. So Barefoot, the first one down on pit road. Looks like rolling off safely. 15-second pit stop, not too bad from the crew of the 9. Christian Delgado did get around the 51 of Dalton Powell there, so that was for P number 10. So Delgado back up into the top 10 since about lap 6 when he was spinning through the grass. AJ Cawthon now all over the back bumper of the 82 of Larson. Larson started tonight's race pretty much leading from the drop there from lap 2 to about lap 20, but since then that car not driving the way it once was. Larson falling back now to P number 7 as Cawthon goes by for that 6th position. These three drivers not quite able to totally shake each other. That is Real Ritter and Cobble Nets. All these guys within a second of each other out on the racetrack. As we see Jeff Barefoot with those fresh sticker tires here going on by, we can see the pace difference here just through the corner. And It is definitely a lot faster, about a second quicker at least here. Tires will make, so driver's gonna have to keep that in mind with the undercut. Johnny Barker down on pit road on 40, so yeah, it looks like maybe my mark was a little bit too long here on the fuel. Maybe that's full fuel as these guys running that 70% marker. As you see race leaders second, third, busy pit road here on lap 41 as man Steve Ritter makes up a ton of time driving down on pit road and very smooth. Didn't look like he sped, so Ritter making up a ton of time, but we see everyone down on pit road here. Looks like everyone's safely on down for the most part. Only car to stay on out, hoping for a yellow, is the 82 of Nick Larson. So Larson gonna try and stretch the fuel as long as he can. That is only going to be one lap here as we see Nick Larson, our race leader, down on pit road pretty fast. Did he get it woed up here? As John Ross rolling off the apron, same with the rest of the field here. As John Ross here back out in front here in the 44 with the pit stop all cycled. Ritter able to make up a good amount of time here. He is within 4 seconds of Ross, so as oh, you hate to see it, Kenny reeled down on pit road for a second time. Apparently a speeding penalty for the 24, and that is a heartbreaker. So going from second pretty much all the way to the bottom of the standings there for the 24. Luckily Real coming in tonight with enough cushion to hang on for the runner-up in points, but a tough break there. As Jeff Barefoot with that early pit road visit, he's able to jump up a couple spots. He is up in the top 10 here, trying to hold on to 9th from the 46 machine of Eli Raposa right behind him. It's going to be a battle for 9th, but Barefoot's got to be careful here down on 33. And if everyone can make it 40 laps on every stop, you know, these drivers down on pit road 2 more times, and Barefoot may have to come down once extra just to top on off. As Raposa will go to the inside, Barefoot up top. Side by side into turn 3. Barefoot a little loose there at the apex. That will allow Raposa to get on by for that 9th position here tonight. So Kenny Real will serve that penalty and roll off of pit road all the way back in 13th, 2 laps down. So like I said, a heartbreak with that penalty on pit road for the 24 crew. With that moves Leroy Cabonets up into the top 3 here tonight. Rob Lowell will sit 4th. 5th is now AJ Cawthon in that 25 Budweiser machine. Drivers we got to keep an eye on 4 points is the 31 of Delgado, the 21 of Rob Lowell, the 6 of Johnny Barker, the 25 of AJ Cawthon, and then the 51 of Dalton Powell. With Dalton Powell, maybe the 43 of Leroy Cobblenets as well. As all those guys in some big time points battles, pretty much from Delgado to Cawthon, and then Powell and Cobblenets. As they run right now, I think Delgado will have enough to hang on to P number 3 from Lowell, but it is going to be very close. Same thing with Cawthon and Barker, as Cawthon needs to make up about 5 points as well to Johnny Barker. So, like I said, a lot still could happen here as we now approach lap number 50 of our 160. So getting into, well, I should say closing in on the double-digit laps to go marker here. As time by at the stripe, we will have 110 left here at Kansas for the Riptide Radio season finale. I was just thinking it, why don't we do it? Let's ride on board with John Ross here, has a helmet cam, and let's take a lap around the Kansas Speedway on board with our race leader. As you can hear, not a lot of time off that loud pedal, a lot of throttle input here to keep the car rotated. Try and keep that weight off of that right front here. As that 6.53 last time by was the best lap on track. That 7.8 puts him once again best car on track speed wise here in the middle of our second stint. So right now everyone pretty much on their own island, only car really within a second of each other, kind of bobbling in and out, will be that battle for third. But Cobblenet's still holding a really good pace compared to the race cars around him. As especially with everyone spread on out, let's throw up the good old trusty track map. Our leader John Ross here in the middle of 3 and 4, starting to catch the 9 and the 51 to put him one lap down here. You can kind of see there the 82 of Nick Larson sent in that 6th position, about a half a track behind our race leader of Ross. Of course, whatever car we're looking at will be highlighted with that neon green circle. As right in front of our race leaders here, we see Jeff Barefoot getting passed by Dalton Powell. That will be for P number 10 here. As now both these drivers gonna go one lap down here, as our race leader John Ross closing up the gap here very quickly. Barefoot will just kiss the wall there, 1 and 2, and looks like Ross will get clear by the time they get to the backstretch. Half a track behind here, Nick Larson is reeling in the 25 of AJ Cawthon. Larson, of course, down on pit road 1 lap later, so he has technically the freshest tires out on track here. We'll see if Larson can use them to his advantage to get around this 25 machine of Cawthon. Larson continuing to close the gap on Cawthon. That's right on board. Looking the correct way, looking at the front of Larson, riding on board with Cawthon. Larson trying to make that inside line work, hoping to get a run here. You can tell Larson's tires feeling a little bit better because he is able to drive the car in a little bit deeper, make it stick, as Cawthon in the wall a little bit. Opens up the door for Larson down low here. These guys side by side down the backstretch. Larson with a half a car advantage. He'll go to kind of no man's land, able to though drive it down to the bottom side here. Larson will take it all the way to the grass here, and he will get clear of Cawthon, able to shut the door here into turn number 1. Here comes Kenny Reel on, trying to get as much time as he can back from that penalty. As Larson will send it in there deep, get a piece of the wall. That will open up the door once again for AJ Cawthon. Looks like Cawthon will go on by up in front. Rob Lowell has gone by Leroy Cobblenetz for 3rd. So Cawthon able to get back that 5th position here. So Larson's going to have to try and do it all over again. So this battle for P number 3 here, Cobblenetz has stayed in the draft of Lowell. So if any mistake were to be made from the 21, the 43 could come in and capitalize on it pretty well. As man, they are right against the wall now in this run. Still about 15 laps to go on these tires before the next set of stops, right around tonight's halfway mark. You can definitely tell the 21 machine's starting to get tight. You can see that car kind of wash on up that quarter to half a car length in the middle of the corner. That's a sign this car not turning the way the driver wants at that time. Will brush the wall there in 1 and 2. Like I said, folks, you can only get away with doing that so many times here tonight at Kansas, as even that little brush brings Cobblenetz right to the back bumper here. So Out in front, Ross leading the way. Ritter gonna lose the race lead to now just about 7 seconds, as these guys still fighting hard for P number 3 here. Rob now trying to search for some grip in the middle lane here. Cobblenet still committed to that inside lane, making her work very well, still even past halfway point into this run here. Let's ride on board with our 4th place driver, looking at this battle from the driver in chase. That is Leroy Cobblenets in the 43 machine here. Cobblenets with a great run there, able to close that gap to inside a car length. As you can see, the 21 has to wait for that car to kind of abruptly cut us. Here we go, Cobblenets to the inside of the 21. Battle for 3rd position here. Lowell was able to reel in the 43, take that spot, but Cobblenets stays patient and able to get that spot as Lowell hard into that turn 2 wall. Once again, out of sorts on the backstretch, but that was a big time hit. I wouldn't be surprised to see if that 21's right front toe is knocked out, or if not, maybe worse, he hit that wall a ton. We'll keep an eye here in the next coming lap, let's say few laps for the 21. See what kind of lap time he is running. As our 2nd place driver, Steve Ritter, still about matching our start matching our race pace here tonight of our race leader. About a 10th or so off, so still losing a little bit of time, but it is quite a big gap to our race lead. You can see it's pretty much a whole set of corners as the 44 just getting off at turn number 4. So we see the first drivers down on pit road here. Kenny reeled down to get pit stop number 2 underway for the 24. John Ross has now lapped inside of the top 10, just putting the 46 of Eli Raposa 1 lap down. Next cars in front of him then become Christian Delgado, Johnny Barker. And those two have a battle here shaping on up as Delgado closing the gap on the number 6 of Johnny Barker here. So a long race here tonight at Kansas for the season championship. These drivers approaching cross flags here as Barker now kind of holding the advantage, the gap to the 31 about the same last time by. Here our race leader now will click on over to lap 77 of 160. We saw drivers last time down on 40. I'd have to bet we would see the next set of drivers here on lap 80 here tonight. As it looks like Kenny Reel extended pit stop for the 24, so maybe calling a night. Now we have the 82 of Larson and the 9 of Jeff Barefoot down on pit road, so interesting. Larson ran that first stint out as far as possible. This time down here early on lap 78. That time by the 21 of Rob Lowell and the 25 of AJ Cawthon down on pit road. Looks like a few drivers trying an undercut here a few laps early on this cycle of pit stops. Ross will stay on out here to take the cross flags here tonight at Kansas. Halfway down, halfway home here in the championship night as we see the 30 machine get in the wall right in front of our race leader. Able to stick it up to the high side there. I'd have to bet we see Ross down on pit road this time by though. As he will keep it down low and exactly what our race leader is doing. John Ross down on pit road, looks like safely. Big time lockup though. As a 46 of Raposa also down on pit road. Steve Ritter will stay on out and lead a lap. So Ritter extending this run here past 40 laps, now make it 41. Looks like Leroy Calvinet's in the 43 also still on the racing surface. As we see our race leader, the 16 of Steve Ritter, down heading to pit road here. He will make it on safely. Here comes now the 43 of Calvinet's. He will also do the same now. How far can Christian Delgado stretch it? Looks like he will come on down pit road, bring along the 6 of Johnny Barker. Those two down and away. Here is, or I should say will be, our race leader, John Ross here. Will take over the point at the stripe as Ritter will just start rolling from his pit stop. By the time John Ross gets on by, as Ritter goes up through the gears on the apron here. As Dalton Powell has not yet seen pit road for a second time tonight. Trying to stretch out this run as far as possible, as he was last down on lap 39, still out on the racing surface here. As Powell the only one to not yet pit. Ooh, he will get a piece of the wall there in 1 and 2. That handling definitely not where it needs to be at. That right front screaming for mercy. I'm surprised we don't see the 51 down on pit road here. As he will get another piece of the wall. So right side of that 51 definitely getting beat on up, and at this point you may need to go into damage control and say, you know, we got to just bring it down on pit road to keep this car in one piece. That time by, we hear the call from the crew of the 51. He heads down onto pit road. Final car to complete the second round of pit stops. As we see now, Johnny Barker trying to hold on to the lead lap here, as our race leader John Ross has closed the gap. As Barker tries to stay on the lead lap here, we'll stick to the top side. Ross will try and make something work down low. In the 25 and 82 battle heating up for P number 5 here is Larson closing the gap to AJ Cawthon. Larson has closed up now within 2 car lengths here. Larson will drive it down to the middle line. Cawthon a little out of sorts there. He'll make it pretty even down this backstretch here, as these two dive it into turn number 3 side by side. Larson down low, Cawthon up top. Larson will try and clear, not quite do it off of 4. So these guys will stay side by side up until turn number 1. As Larson able to shut the door, he will go back to the 5th spot here. Up in front, Johnny Barker is actually kind of driven away a little from our race leader here. So, like I said, folks, Barker doing everything he can to stay on the lead lap here. With this time by going to be 70 laps still to go here tonight. A long race here tonight, already 50 minutes of green flag racing here. Have not had a single yellow flag. All have been clean green flag laps since the drop of the green of the season finale. These guys putting on a show now. Everyone pretty strung on out, as we have had so far 2 sets of green flag pit stops. Only real big things we've seen: 31 of Delgado spinning through the grass, Rob Lowell getting loose a couple times on the backstretch, and then Kenny Real Again, a tough break on pit road. Speeding penalty for the 24. But the man that's been riding a hot streak has been the 44 of John Ross. Has put together a run here coming into tonight of 3 race wins in a row, now trying to go for 4. Like I said, once they took the green flag here, Ross going to be walking away with the season championship, the Out of the Woods Crafts Rookie of the Year, the most wins in this season and a whole other accolades, and he's trying to add another one here tonight, picking up the win at the championship round. Here for P number 5, Larson in the wall there in 3 and 4, and I tell you what, Cawthon has held on to the draft and now a little bit faster the last couple times on by, so we'll keep an eye on this as Cawthon here with the long run gonna try and reclaim P number 5. Here we go, battle for P number 5. Cawthon to the inside of Larson here into turn number 1. Cawthon will try and run the white line on corner exit. Of course, Larson ripping the top lane. Larson gets a piece of the wall. That will allow Cawthon to complete a pretty easy pass there in 1 and 2. You can definitely tell Larson's car pretty tight on that top side as you hear him really have to wait on that throttle. And even with that waiting, that car still slid up to that wall. John Ross getting closer and closer to heavy lap traffic. It's still Johnny Barker, last car on the lead lap here. As this time on by for the 44, we click on over to triple laps completed here tonight. 100 of our scheduled 160 for the season championship of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. The sounds of the salt, sand, and sea. Broadcasting from Ocean Drive, South Carolina. Free download for the best in Carolina beach and boogie music. That is, of course, Riptide Radio. Also sponsor of the number 9 machine of Jeff Barefoot. As Delgado has made his way back up into 7th position here. Delgado right now, biggest mover of tonight, up 6 spots from where he started. The tough break of the night so far, down 5 spots, is the 51 of Dalton Powell, currently running in that P number 11 spot, 1 lap down. So Ross and Ritter now gap is up to 9 seconds here. Ritter has a little bit better tires, but Ross still running faster laps than P number 2. Ross, of course, in some big time draft now from the number 6 of Barker. Rob Lowell up into P number 3. Kyle Bonnett's 4th. AJ Cawthon rounding out the top 5. 6th is Larson. 7th, Delgado. 8th is Johnny Barker here trying to stay on the lead lap as the last car there. 9th is Eli Raposa. 10th being Jeff Barefoot. 11th, Dalton Powell. Reba Ken is in 12th, and then Kenny Real. Tough break for him here tonight, back there in 13th. So Johnny Barker not going to make this easy for our race leader here. Barker going to try his hardest to stay on that lead lap, especially here at Kansas. You never know when there could be that yellow flag with these drivers running as close to they are with the wall. You know, it takes one good hit, send a car sideways, and all of a sudden this race could be thrown on its head. Last time by, Steve Ritter was a little bit faster, so maybe just starting to eat into this race lead here as Ross going to be in some heavy lap traffic here in a hurry. As this third stint now over halfway complete, we should see the advantage of Ritter's tires start to come into play a little bit. Like I said, you got to wonder how much is it because Ross is in the lap traffic right now. With some drivers close on by, let's do one of the fan favorites here. That's right, folks. We're gonna let the cars do the talking. It's a little turn 3, turn it up here in the second half of our season championship. cool stuff there from those static shots as we come back here to our race leader. John Ross has put Johnny Barker 1 lap down. Now the number 9 of Jeff Barefoot 2 laps down here. Now last car on the lead lap is our 7th place driver, Christian Delgado. Delgado closing the gap to Nick Larson though. As one car in the wall big time there off at turn number 4. That would be the Riptide Radio number 9 machine of Jeff Barefoot. As Kenny Reel here having some more issues. He is through the grass, and that car definitely not driving straight, so I believe some big time damage. Probably got a big piece of the wall there off of turn number 4. Jeff Barefoot down on pit road here. Rob Lowell able to kind of extend the gap to Cobbinets for that 3rd position. These drivers within a second kind of before that last round of pit stops, but now that has changed as Lowell has found some rhythm though in the wall there in 1 and 2. Here is that battle for 6th here as Delgado reeling in the 82 of Larson. Delgado trying to dig himself out of a big hole here. Started shotgun on the field to start, then spinning through the grass without a yellow. Has raced his way back up through the field, and now is up to 5th as AJ Cawthon down on pit road. I believe these drivers gonna try to make it to the end from here. So if everyone were to finish in the spots they are running, I believe the points would look very similar to how they came in here tonight. I think Delgado would hang on to 3rd, Lowell would be 4th, and then Johnny Barker would round out the top 5 in points. As the 51 of Dalton Powell down on pit road into his box. So last time Ritter extended the pit stop cycle by 1 lap over Ross, has been able to cut into Ross's lead to about 6.5 seconds now. But you know, now for Ritter, time is not on his side. In the second half of the race, each lap that goes on by is less and less time to erase the gap to the race lead. If it were to stay true for Ross's pit cycle here, we should see him down this time by here on lap 20. So we'll keep an eye on the race leaders, see what the strategy call is from the top of the pit box. Lowell down on pit road. Cobbinets will follow him. Those two will have the exact same tires, so it'll come down to how they break them on in. As Ross stays down low, race leader down on pit road here. He will bring it to the cone here nice and safely. Doesn't have to push the envelope. Ritter going to try and make up as much time as possible. So now out on track, it just leaves Delgado, Larson, and Barker. As I believe the 46 of Raposa not down on pit road, but here this time by we see Delgado blow it on up. Same with the 82 of Larson. So that just leaves the 6 of Johnny Barker hoping for a yellow flag here. As Barker takes over the point in the 6, I'd have to believe this time by we will see him down on pit road as John Ross rolls off of pit road. We'll get onto the racing surface now. The 16 of Ritter will do the same. Barker will stay on out another lap here. Ritter made up a little bit of time on John Ross here, about 5 seconds back now. But is at least going to have to take off a second every 10 laps. Barker will continue to lead the field here. One of 2 drivers still have not visited pit road for the final time here tonight. One of them, of course, being the 6 of Barker, our race leader at the moment. The other being the 30 of Ariba Canton. As Canton down this time, I'd have to believe we see the 6 of Barker down as well. No, Barker will stay out yet another lap here as John Ross closing the gap to our race leader. Steve Ritter now about 4.8 seconds back from our race leader. Well, I should say about to be our race leader, as Barker now in some traffic here. If he is trying to dive down, looks like no. So John Ross gonna take over the point here on the fresh tires. So Ross trying to put the 46 of Raposa 2 laps down. Looks like we'll do just that, as I believe the 9 of Barefoot got a piece of the wall there off of turn number 2. But now Ross will have a lot of clean and open track in front of him, as Steve Ritter gonna have to go through all of those cars as well as make up that time. As we see the 6 of Johnny Barker down on pit road, so that will complete our final set of green flag pit stops. Like I mentioned, all it takes is one car spinning on out, and this race gets turned on its head for at least the top 7 drivers, let's say. So Steve Ritter able to race the gap to about 4.5 seconds here at the moment. So this time at the stripe for the 44 Ross, we will see 30 laps to go inside of our final stint here. Drivers down on pit road for their last times, as long as we don't get that caution fell out on the speedway. Ross and Ritter about running the same lap times here. And Rob Lowell currently running in that third position. Leroy Cobblenet's in fourth. AJ Cawthon rounding out the top five. As we hear Cawthon trying to save some fuel. He was down on 114, so like I said, it's going to be very close, but Cawthon already keeping that in the back of his mind, already trying to slow up that race car here. So with Cawthon slowing up that pace, that is allowing Christian Delgado to very quickly catch this 25 machine. As within the next few laps, Delgado is going to be, I believe, in the top five for the first time here tonight. As man, these drivers gotta be feeling worn out here. Have been racing for about an hour and 15 minutes straight. Have not had any sort of breaks besides when they have come down on pit road for about those 20 seconds or so. As here we go, battle for fifth. Delgado down low, Cawthon up top. Of course, Cawthon's race not really with the 31. Cawthon just trying to make it the distance on fuel. As Delgado will go on by. Now Cawthon will try and stay on the lead lap, as the next car behind him is our race leader. Oh, our race leader Ross into the wall there off of turn number 4, and a bad one too, as he gets a safer barrier, but also the piece without it kind of got sucked in there. So luckily Ross having a good amount of cushion now, 5.5 seconds back. Sits our second place driver, Steve Ritter. So Ross this time on by. We'll see 25 laps to go. That is right, folks. We go into the countdown clock here tonight at Championship Night for the Riptide Radio 802 Cup Series. With me blabbing on the way here, folks, we start to get into our closing stages, but I gotta take a break from talking, so we will throw to a quick commercial with one of our partners here at Turn 3 Racing Network. That is right, it's Premier Setups. If you want to find out more, link in the description. Even if you don't want to buy anything, just clicking it, get in that traffic, supports us at Turn 3. So we'll be right back here. Do some racing action at Kansas. We come back here live at Kansas, picking up right where we left off here. 22 laps to go. John Ross out in front and everyone still pretty spread on out. I'm sure these drivers worn out here as this has been a marathon by all of them. It's still not done yet, as Kansas takes a lot of concentration, keep these cars off the wall, and do it for 160 laps. That is impressive. Even more impressive though, not having a single yellow flag. Wow. As John Ross this time by, we'll see 20 laps to go. As let's ride on board. With the 44 machine of John Ross, we'll see if anything has changed here as this run has gone on, with throttle or line wise for our race leader. I'd have to think with everything that's been going on, I think we'll probably see pretty close to the same. Above that first scene here, let's drift up just a little bit, then walks it on down. As he is catching the car, trying to stay on the lead lap but save enough fuel. That's the Budweiser 25 machine of AJ Cawthon here right in front of the race leader. Cawthon will stay on high and Ross will go on by. As Ross has picked up the race lead to about 6.5 seconds over Steve Ritter. Ritter's Leaf Guard number 16 machine looks pretty clean here, so has done a good job keeping that car off the wall. Same with our race leader Ross. I believe Lowell may have a little bit of right side damage, but still hanging on to a podium spot. Calbanets seems like been running in the top 5 all day long after, the first half of that second half of the first stint. Has not looked back since. And then Christian Delgado up into the top 5 here. Great rebound race. So here tonight we have 15 laps to go. John Ross out in front. Here this time by, we will see 14 to go for the SimMotion 44 machine. Of course, here at 802, another successful Cup Series season in the books. These drivers, of course, looking for racers and race fans for next season, so if you want to be a part of the action you see here on Sunday nights. Some great racers, and I mean 160, well at least 140 laps so far, clean and green at Kansas. That is pretty awesome. To give you an idea, here is where they went this season. Started off at the Classic, always got to start season off at Daytona. Then they went out west to Fontana or Auto Club Speedway. Then race number 3 was Pocono, 4th was Bristol. Then they head to Atlanta, did a little road course racing in Sonoma. Then head to a track very similar to tonight of Kentucky. And of course Las Vegas, Charlotte, Homestead, Chicagoland. A big swing of about 1.5 milers there. Then they went to New Hampshire, Dover, Darlington, Talladega, Watkins Glen, North Wilkesboro, Nashville, Michigan, and of course tonight here at Kansas. So of course a lot of great NASCAR tracks they came and visited. And of course tonight we'll wrap up their season 4 winter championship. Of course, the big headlines coming out of this season: rookie sensation John Ross lighting it up and looking to do the same here tonight. As off of turn number 4, Ross will see 2 open palms from the flagman. See 10 fingers out. That is right, it is 10 laps to go here in championship night. Christian Delgado doing what he needed to do to hang on to 5th in points. So that looks like it will put Rob Lowell 4th in points, 3rd in points, as Johnny Barker will be the driver 5th in points. Looking out on the speedway here, no one really super close to a battle. At least every single car and track at least has about a 1.5 second gap to the cars around them. So this one finishing with a tall order, 160 laps. Now down to just 8 laps to go. Don't forget, folks, the real life Kansas race going on right now. So once this is wrapped on up, be sure to check into that, as they plan to, I guess, race into the night. So that could be kind of cool to see how Kansas transitions into the nighttime and how these cars are driving. Is here tonight. Seems like these cars are a handful, really tight off these corners and just pushing these right fronts. But luckily for these drivers now, 7 laps to go. As here we go for 6, Cawthon trying to save that fuel. Might be in trouble for 6 as Nick Larson closing the gap here pretty rapidly. Larson on the front row here tonight, trying to get back into the top 5. Should maybe get up into 6, as I believe Cawthon still has to save quite a bit of fuel. As Ross has lapped up into the top 5 here tonight. You can see Steve Ritter closing up on the back bumper of the 82, going to try and put them a lap down, but he knows he just needs to keep his car clean in case something crazy happens, like a late race yellow. That time by for Ross. We saw 1 open palm. It is 5 laps to go. Yeah, here comes Nick Larson. Is one car stopped on track? I believe that was Sorry, folks, I believe the 9 of Jeff Barefoot almost bringing out the yellow late. Luckily, able to get that car off the racing surface, but man, that could have been very wild. As we see now, Larson within 3 car lengths of Cawthon. What does Larson do here? Does he allow Ritter to go on by? Make Ritter try and get around Cawthon? Does he try and go around Cawthon and hope Ritter doesn't slow him on up? And then the ultimate question, does AJ Cawthon have enough fuel to make it to the end? He had to stretch this thing out about 45 laps, which is pretty unheard of. As here we go, Larson looking to the inside of Cawthon, right on the back bumper here down the backstretch. Cawthon will sail it up top. Larson will run the middle here. Gonna try and get to the left rear as that time by John Ross. We'll see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. Larson able to get down low on Cawthon side by side into turn number 1. This is a battle for P number 6 here late in the race. Larson able to get clear, will slide on up to the top. Give P number 6 to Nick Larson here. And off of turn number 4, John Ross will see the white flag for the final time this season. Ross into turns 1 and 2 for the final time, trying to be a 9-time winner this season. Down the backstretch he will come. And man, oh man, what a season it has been. Off of turn number 4, John Ross is going to pick up the win, championship night, and the championship. What a season for him. Steve Ritter will come home second, and here through 3 and 4 for the final time, Rob Lowell is able to hold off Leroy Cobblenetz for third. Lowell will finish P number 3. Cobblenetz will come bring it home in a solid P number 4. And this man right here, Christian Delgado, will battle against adversity, able to hang on to P number 3 in the standings. As here he is, folks. John Ross on the front stretch here. Gonna burn it on down as tonight's winner, and not only that, our season champion. Don't go anywhere, folks, because right after this, we will be talking to our top 3 in our standings. Of course, John Ross being one of them as well with our points. So we'll be right back after commercial break for our post-race show. You won't want to miss it.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here at Kansas Motor Speedway, dialing up our top three finishers. First up, we got our third place finisher, that being the GStone 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Rob, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Hey Brett, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? How are you feeling after 160 consecutive laps here at Kansas?
I wish I could go back and start over and run the first three segments like I ran the last one. That's I just overdrove the car on entry the first.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I drove it in too hard, made the tires unhappy in the middle of the corner, and I knew I was doing it. I kept trying to talk myself out of it, but you get racing other people, and classic case that I started racing other guys and didn't race the track.
Yep, it's so easy to do it. I was going to ask you, Rob, what'd you figure out that last stint? So just taking a little bit more easy corner entry, was that lifting off or a little bit more brake?
Actually, I was getting out of it early. I was trail braking a little bit. I was driving the car. I don't know if you could see it, but I was driving the car straight into the corner and then kind of diming it in the apex, using the throttle to turn it, and trying to keep the wheel as straight as possible getting in and getting it back straight as possible getting off. All the stuff that you have to do with these next gens to save tires and make them fast, and just a classic case where I got the racing guys way too hard and banged up the front fender a couple times, and yeah, I didn't do myself any favors.
Yeah, tough race out here for sure with this track and how you got to manage it. I mean, like you said, you get racing around cars, blow off that right front, and I mean, once that thing's gone, you might as well say see you later. It's only going to get worse for you from there on off, right?
Yeah, and like coming out for the third run, so I pitted like lap 80, 81, somewhere in there. I came out there and I said, okay, I'm going to run the bottom. I'm going to shift. I went 17, 18 laps really hard there, seeing if that would be any better. I had like 6 seconds on Leroy, and I could feel the right front. I went in the corner, and it got mushy, and that next corner got mushy. So I'm like, okay. So then I just gap managed. I kind of started backing out of it way early. I tried everything I could to cool that right front down, not abuse it, till he got within a second of me. And then I picked it back up to try to maintain third. I got away from him a little bit just for that final pit stop. The last pit stop, I just finally smartened up, and you can't make any mistakes with Steve and John, Dalton, my teammate Johnny and Nick. You make one little mistake and early in the race, and it ends your race. And like last week at Michigan, I screwed myself, but I screwed Johnny because we kind of had control of that race, and I was leading it there. Johnny was second. Those guys, the three of them, we knew they were going to catch us 3-car draft versus 2. And during practice during that week, Johnny and I had practiced me running the outside, him on the inside, me holding someone down and force them loose off too to maintain position because the outside's dominant. And we made the call over there like a second out back last week to him, and I switched. I went into second to fight off those guys and let him lead there. And I came to pit road last week and once again made a stupid mistake. I got in too hard, missed the commitment cone, had to go around once. And then Johnny had no one to draft with, and I feel like I took a win out of Johnny's pocket last week. And then tonight, I was just an idiot and drove too hard early. So,
yeah,
like me this season, I've had an off season and looking forward to the summer season.
Yeah, definitely a tough break last season, as like you said, missing that commitment cone and then leaving Johnny out there to defend by himself. And that place, Michigan, like you said, such a drafting track. Here tonight, kind of the same, but name of the game seemed like definitely trying to keep that dirty air off that nose.
yeah, and it, when I caught Johnny and Jeff there, in that last run, Johnny was a little bit faster than me. He gone by me. We came up on Jeff, and Jeff goes, "What do you got? What do you got, guys want?" And I said I wanted the outside, and Johnny said he wanted the inside. Jeff goes, "Well, I can't accommodate two of you." And Johnny said, "Hey, let Rob go. He's racing Leroy for position here." And then John and I just focused on straightaways. Either him behind me or me ahead of him or me behind him. Um, so it's not draft is not huge here, but you can suck up a little bit on the straightaways, get some extra speed. So we use that to our advantage when we could.
All right, Rob. Well, awesome job here tonight with a P number 3 here. I believe that will put you in the final standings of 4th here. So even with a off season by your books, still walking away with some great finishes, some great points. I mean, what are you looking forward to the next season when these things roll on around? And what are the plans for the off season?
So summertime, we don't run the money season with the Cup cars. We usually do something different. We're gonna do starting here in 2-3 weeks. We're gonna start doing it's gonna be a random track, random car. So it's gonna be late model stocks, spin into your truck. We'll do a random draw just before broadcast time, or just decide what car, and then we'll do a random draw, decide what track, and then we'll have like a short 15-20 minute practice session for everyone, and then go out and race. And there won't be any practicing for it throughout the week. And we got next money season will start second third week November. It'll be another 20-22 week season next winter. And what we're looking at is it may not be next gen. It may be the 2003 Cup cars that iRacing is going to release. It might be the Gen 6. Um, Not really sure, but these cars, we the admins and some of the league race we talked to, we want to get back to something that's a little more difficult to race. It's a little more driver friendly. Driver can make up for some stuff. What we really want to get to is where the guy behind isn't screwed by the dirty air, and the guy up front doesn't have all the advantage of aero blocking and getting the guys right front. So the Gen 6, the 2003, we're hoping, even maybe the Gen 4s, those cars you can really manipulate the guy ahead of you from behind. You can pack air into his left rear, get him loose. You can side draft. So it could be these cars, could be something different. But let me put my promoter hat on real quick. I want to thank Riptide Radio, Jeff Barefoot. They are a longtime sponsor of this league, a huge part of it. Could not do it without Jeff and Riptide Radio. Um, Jeff pays a big chunk of the broadcasting fee, and he puts up money every week for a random finisher from 6 back. To me, that's huge. That $5 iRacer credit that he gives out every week to someone from 6th place back. That's for those guys that they struggle to run up front. They had a bad night, something. It keeps the motivation in there. And then Out of the Wood Crafts for the Rookie of the Year, John won that. So Frank Zingen, congrats Frank on the new baby. I know you're probably watching. Frank does the Rookie of the Year, and he also does the championship plaque. And John will be getting that for his championship. BG Graphics, Brandon Garand does the Pole Award. And every week, that's a $5 Irishman credit to whoever wins the pole every week. And then Leafguard and Steve Ritter came on. Steve put up $20 cash for season opener Daytona Pole Award, the Charlotte Throwback Race Pole Award, and he put up $20 tonight, which he gets to pay himself, or Leafguard gets to give him. So huge thanks to those sponsors. DTL Customs, Dave Lamaga. Dave also had a baby. That's why he stopped racing a month and a half ago. Congrats to Dave and his wife. Dave did all the paint schemes for the throwback, and at that time we had like 28 or 30 people in the league that were racing weekly, and that's a huge time commitment on his part to do that. So thank them. I want to thank you, Turn 3 Network, Ever at Turn 3, you Brett, for coming on middle of the season, and helping us out with the broadcast. And then I need to be fair. I want to thank Jason from Signature Esports. He did the first 10 races with us. Appreciate all he did for us, and we look forward to a long-lasting relationship with you in Turn 3. Shout out to Roger Moth on the dirt side, does us our dirt league for A2 iRacing leagues with Turn 3. A2 iRacing leagues is very happy here at home with Turn 3 Network and look forward to many seasons to come. And with that, I'll get off and let Steve and John talk.
Alrighty, Rob. Well, awesome job here tonight. Way to wrap up the season with a bang. So you go enjoy your off season. I can't wait to start this on up with you guys next season. Rob, have yourself a great rest of the night.
Can I take one more? Can I have one more? Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I almost forgot to thank some of the most important guys in the league, with my teammates: Johnny Barker, Nick Larson, Dave Lamaga, Jeff Barefoot, Gene Cato, Connor Barker. Gene and Connor didn't get he's only got to race 1 or 2 races with us, but thank you guys for the practice sessions, for the race sessions. I do this because we have a lot of fun doing it, and just want to thank everyone for watching.
Oh yeah, Rob, can't forget the teammates and the friendships, that you make on this thing. Like I tell people, it's a awesome experience, and for racing wise, there isn't much closer than this that you can get.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Alrighty, Rob. Well, you have yourself a great rest of the night and a great off season, and we'll catch you back for season 5. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Alrighty, folks, that was our 3rd place finisher, and one of the many people that make this series run. It was Rob Lowell in the 51. Now we head up to runner-up finisher, that being the 16 of Steve Ritter. Steve, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? 160 laps here at Kansas. Got to be a little bit tired after that one.
Yeah, I am a little bit tired after that one, actually.
Yeah, long race. I think you guys did about an hour and 30 minutes consecutive racing here. Yeah, I think it finished an hour and 28 minutes. I mean, man, a long one here. But how'd you find the speed here in the 16 machine? Because at first I could definitely tell you were saving stint number 1, but you think you turned it back too much that first stint and figured out the pace by the end of this one?
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. I was gonna run the bottom and try to save the tires a little bit. I just kept on. John just kept creeping away from me, and I'm like, I better get up top because he is gone. And that was literally the difference. I made up a little bit on that last pit stop, a couple seconds on pit road, but there was no way I could reel him back in. And that was literally the difference in the race, was that very first 20 to 25 laps where I ran the bottom, and he just got that 4 to 5 second lead on me.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people trying different stuff, whether racing hard or, going hard at first, which definitely wasn't the move. We saw drivers fall back like a rock really quickly, and especially here at Kansas. You get that right front hot, and it's pretty much downhill from there.
Yeah, I think after the second stint, I was trying to reel him back in there at the end, and I come in and check my tire where I was past 50%. So, yeah, we were using the right front pretty good tonight.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it when I rode on board with you. But Steve, like you said, made up a ton of time on pit road. I mean, where do you get that confidence on pit road, and did you practice it much? Or because you're definitely one of the quickest getting to pit road and getting it woed up each and every time.
I mean, I do practice getting in on and off pit road, during practice, but I think it's just experience. I've been doing this for over 15 years, so I think that more plays into it. You've just been doing this for so long, it's kind of habit.
Yeah, that it is. Well, Steve, of course, missing some of the playoff races, so not having the points finish you need, but walking away with 2 wins this season. What's the expectations here going into season 5 next fall?
Yeah, we're gonna put some effort in the next season. This was the first year here with 802, and it was a good year. We definitely were competitive. Like you said, we missed the playoff race due to getting ill, and that kind of sucked. But yeah, next year I think you're gonna see a little bit different 16 car, and hopefully we'll be up front a lot next year.
Alrighty, I think so as well, Steve. As like I said, when you jump into a race, it seems like you're either talking to me at the end of the race or somewhere close. So, Steve, once again, congrats on a great season here, opening season for you. But before we let you go, for the final time here, I'm going to go hand the mic over to you and thank who you got to thank here on Championship Night.
Yeah, I just want to, thank Rob for, doing the league and putting everything together for us and doing the servers and all that. There's a lot of work that he does that goes on behind the scenes that I don't think anybody really realizes. Riptide Radio, obviously, for sponsoring the series. All the associate sponsors, BG Graphics for painting the cars for us on Piston Broke team, and all my teammates. It was a great season. This was a lot of fun. Again, it was our first season here, and we're definitely coming back and really looking forward to it. And obviously you, Brett, for taking over the reins as the broadcaster and doing a great job. Thank you.
Alrighty, Steve. Well, appreciate the kind words there, and you keep up the strong form, man, as can't wait to see what you have to offer next season. So, Steve, have a great off season, and we'll catch you next fall. Have a good one.
Thanks, Brett. Take care.
Alrighty, folks. That was our second place driver, Steve Ritter. And now heading down to victory lane here tonight. And our season champion and our Out of the Woods Craft Rookie of the Year. It is the 44 of John Ross. John, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I have you, Brett.
Alrighty, man. 160 laps tonight was a long race. How was it out in front there from that second half of that first stint till the end? How was the car feeling? It looked like you had some pretty good pace, both short and long run.
Yeah, it felt really good. I think I really wasn't sure what to expect because, if you're running official races, track temperature might be a little bit different and you have to run some longer laps on the tires. I think a lot of people were hugging the bottom, hoping the tires were going to come in, but I knew we were probably only doing 35 to 40 lap stints. So I thought that the tires would hold up on the top side. And if you're running the bottom, you were probably giving up 3 to 4 tenths a lap in the beginning of a run. But then you were probably going to gain 1 to 2 tenths on the back end from like 30 to 40. But by then the gap was so large. And what I really noticed here is it seemed to free up a little bit. It didn't get real pushy at the end of a run. It got a little bit looser at the end of the run. So I was able to kind of kick the car around a little bit and save a little bit of the right front. So car felt really good. I got behind Johnny there on one stint, and he was running the exact same line that I was, and it kind of burned my tires up a little bit. But I think overall it was a good run.
Yeah, a great race by you, picking up win number 9 of the season. I mean, man, I think to finish with a 3 or 4 win streak as well. I mean, how is it feeling, and how you looking for next season with this kind of run here at the end?
Yeah, it felt great, and you can't you can't fault like the guys. Everybody that we run against. It's so fantastic to run so clean. And to run so tight and so hard for so long, and if you think about it, we went 160 laps without a caution. So it was fantastic. The guys have been great. The whole league has been great this entire year. So we're looking forward to it. I want to bring all the Wildman crew back next year and run again. And I know Rob and everybody's done a lot to put a lot of effort into what's going to happen next season and even for the summer season. So we can't wait. We're really excited about it. And I mean, I can't be more excited. I'm more excited for Christian finishing third in the points. I believe he's going to wind up third, and Leroy finishing in the top 10. And we'll have Joseph back for the whole season next year. So I can't wait. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that it is, to have those teammates and those friends to help you on out for the ups and downs of racing always goes a long way. But yeah, John, walking away this season, a lot of hardware, like I mentioned before, 9 wins, Rookie of the Year going to you, and of course the big trophy, walking away with the championship. Man, that is awesome.
Yeah, I can't thank the league enough. And when we joined, we have a good group of guys that runs with us, and Leroy and Christian and Joseph, and we got several others that are on the Wildman team. And when we look for leagues, It's just, can we be clean, and can everybody there be great guys to drive around? I gotta say, even in the chat and the Discord and what we do on the track, and Rob really polices it well, and it's just been a fantastic league to run in. And we've had some luck. I've had some luck this year, and some good runs this year. But man, I think we started off with probably 25 to 30 cars at the beginning of the season, and that's what we need for next season too. I mean, we need a good group of guys. I think we wound up with 13 tonight, and that'll happen toward the end of a season. But if you're looking for a place to go, I think Rob pays out all the way to like the top 16 that make the playoffs. So if you're looking to get a little bit of money back and you want to go to a league, and I mean, this is the place to go.
Yeah, that it is, John. Is like you mentioned, 160 laps clean and green. I mean, it's hard to find anywhere else that has racing like this, and to put it all together with a lot of great drivers here, a lot of skill, in there as well with, racing up front with you or racing mid pack with other people. There's a lot of people you could be racing around each and every week, even when it does go green to checkered.
Absolutely, and it doesn't matter if it's the front of the pack, mid pack, back of the pack. I mean, we're all all of us are there at one point or another. It's always respectful. It's good, hard, clean racing. I don't think you're going to get, nobody's going to pull over and give you a spot, but what they are going to do is they're going to allow your line if you get there, and they're going to run you hard, and that's the best thing that we can hope for. And when you come into one of these lobbies and one of these leagues, you really hope that's what you're looking for, is respect, and to be able to run clean and run hard, and that's what 802 league gives you. And if you need somewhere to go and you want to run on Sunday nights, if you're watching, this is the place to go. I mean, bring your car out, contact Rob, and let's go for next season.
Yeah, you said it right there, John. That's all it takes to get involved with some great racers. Well, John, here tonight, championship night wrapping on up. I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for all those accolades here from season number 4, including that championship you're walking away with.
Yeah, Brett, first of all, thank you for the broadcast. We certainly appreciate it. Put it on every week. You're always here. You do a great job, very professional. We appreciate that. And I want to thank my Wildman team. I can't do it. If we look at some of these, even tonight, talking in the chats, if it's, large plate tracks, whatever it is, being able to bounce ideas off of your team, you got to have a great team. And I have to thank those guys. And that's Christian, Leroy, Joseph, and even Roman, that hops in our chat and really helps us out every week. I really appreciate that. I want to thank my sponsors, and that's USSimMotion.com. And if anybody's looking to buy any race gear, sim race gear, this is the place to go. And if you use code 802, they'll knock 5% off of anything that you purchase. So we would appreciate that. If you want anything from wheelbases to seats to anything that you need, sim racing wise, they got you handled. Majors Garage, if you're running open sets, use code Ross99, and they'll hook you up there. At the 802 sponsorships, and that's Riptide Radio, DTL Customs, BG Graphics, and Leaf Guard. And then everybody that we run against with 802, although, hey, from Rob, Johnny, AJ, all the admins, all the way to anybody, Jeff, all of those guys that we run with and against. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. It was a fantastic season. Really appreciate the respect and a place to run. And so, sometimes you don't get great places to run, and this is one of them. So I can't thank you enough for that.
Well, John, it has been awesome. You yourself put together a record-breaking season, I think, in the world of the 802 Racing League. So, John, you have yourself a great off season, and can't wait to see you hopefully pick it right back up in season 5, John. Have a great rest of the night and go celebrate this championship.
Thanks, Brett. Have a good night.
Alrighty, folks. That was John Ross, season Man, oh man, guys, what a season it has been. That was John Ross, our season 4 champion, walking away with that, as well as the Out of the Woods Crafts Rookie of the Year. And man, has it been a good one. Can't wait to see what season number 5 has to bring as we get ready to wrap on up here. Let's go through tonight's finishing results. John Ross picking up win number 9 of the season. Steve Ritter will finish second. Third going to Rob Lowell. Fourth will be Leroy Cobblenetz in the 43 machine. Fifth going to Christian Delgado in the 31. Sixth is Nick Larson in the 82. Seventh is AJ Cawthon in the 25. Eighth is the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Ninth going to Eli Raposa in the 46. Ariba Ken in the 30 will pick up a top 10, finishing in 10th. 11th going to Jeff Barefoot in the 9. 12th is Dalton Powell in the 51. Then finishing P number 13 will be Kenny Reel in the 24. If you want to stay up to date with the offseason, be sure to check out 802 iRacing on Facebook. Of course, we got to thank all the sponsors here at 802 that make this happen. That, of course, being Riptide Radio with the title sponsorship. Out of the Woods Crafts with the Rookie of the Year there. BG Graphics for the Pole Award, DTL Custom Graphcs, and Leaf Guard. Got to thank all the admins with Rob and everyone else behind the scenes that make this series happen and put on a great race in place for everyone to have a great time. Of course, got to give a shout out to Turn 3 as what we're streaming on. Be sure to tune into Turn 3 throughout the week as we have a lot of great broadcasts, a lot of great racing, covering some of the best sim racing action. Turn 3 is also partnered with Premier Setups. If you could, please go click the link in the description. That will take you over to Premier. And just at least click it, take it over there, get the clicks over there for this month. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and that will do it here for season number 4. Be sure to tune on in. Stay tuned for season 5 information when that comes on up. Everyone take care, stay safe, and have a great summer. I've been Brett the Jet, and I flew by you. Have a good one, and thanks again for tuning on in. I appreciate each and every one of you.